Hey everyone, so today I am going to be going over Yomi, probably one of the greatest turnarounds from a job plus that we've seen so far in Japan, aside from maybe Courage. Um, so the reason I wanted to go over Yomi today is because I want to put an emphasis on what exactly it means to have an essential Nensou. Yomi's basically a good character if she has what she needs, and she's sort of mediocre if she doesn't. So let's start by taking a look at our Kaigan before we really start to get into this. So you'll notice my Yomi's 520. This is not the ideal setup. Yomi wants a 553 if you really want to run her to the best of her capabilities. Her gate 1, like always, is HP. Her gate 2 will give her 20% physical attack and 10% HP above and beyond what she already has. And gate 3, we always just raise it to 3 because that extra speed. She's not really an evade unit, so you don't have to worry about raising it higher than that unless you really want her leader skill for some reason. Yomi does have her own Nensou, and this is where my issues with Yomi come in. She pretty much needs this Nensou. It's pretty much just essential. The problem is Yomi's Nensou has a bunch of skills on it, and her VCR also has a skill on it, and she's gonna need those skills in order to actually do damage on a map. So the Nensou itself, I have it at limit break 2, and it's giving me 53 defense for Watatsumi units, and it's giving a unit group that consists of just Yomi 67 attack and 33 luck. And one of the things about Yomi's Job Plus is it changed the, it changed, I believe it's called Priestess in Global. It changed it to a physical attack and luck scaling instead of a magical attack and luck scaling job. You might also hear me call it Miko, which is what we call it in Japan. So she does scale on physical attack now, which is a good thing, because she is going to be using that a lot. And there are 2 skills on this Nensou, and I will show you them when I actually drop into a map. Let's take a look at her VCR. Her VCR, she has her own exclusive katana. It comes with 50 attack, 10 speed, and I believe that's 10 magic modifier and 10 thunder exploit. So the thing you have to remember about exploit is you need a skill with the wind element in order to use it. So despite having thunder exploit, Setsuna cannot use this katana and get the thunder exploit. She just doesn't have any skills with that. It is one thing we are hoping in the future that if Setsuna ever does get a JE or a J+, is that she gets some wind skills so she can use this katana. But for now, Yomi's really the only one in the game who can utilize this katana for what it's made for, and that's for wind attacks. I normally run her with regen armor. Regen armor I just think is far superior on her than any other options. And I also have the, not Tomomo, this is the Izuyoi VCR. And the Izuyoi VCR comes with 40 luck, plus 10 wind, and plus 10 hit rate. And there's some other status reduction thing on there that I don't remember off the top of my head. But the funny thing about this VCR is it looks like it was made intentionally for Yomi. Izuyoi doesn't really benefit much outside of the weapon ability on this VCR. So this is pretty much a Yomi VCR. We sometimes like to joke about VCRs that were clearly designed for other units. That this would be one of them. This one looks like it was clearly designed for Yomi. Tomomo also can run this VCR for the plus 10 wind, and she does well with it. Tomomo's another character who we're kind of hoping gets the priestess treatment that Yomi got, just with bows instead. That would be pretty cool. But no such announcement of that, so we can just hope, dream, and theory craft about it. It's overall a great item. If you don't have this VCR, you can just fill it in with whatever you think you might need. She already has speed from her katana, and she has HP from the regen armor, so the world's your oyster. You can choose whatever you'd like that you think might be helpful at the time. So Yomi does have a job plus, as I've mentioned multiple times. Her job plus is not a normal job plus though. Most job pluses get their own events that are in a separate column, but Yomi's job plus is in the Babel chapters, and it's time limited. So what that means is that when the Babel chapters come out, you're going to have to clear them. You're going to have to clear all of them just to unlock Yomi's job plus quests. Yomi's job plus quests then occur over like 6 maps, I think it is. And unlike Sophie and Courage's job plus, which are also Babel job pluses, Yomi's maps are actually pretty difficult. You're going to need Kaigan units to clear them effectively, and they're going to do a lot of BS stuff like tell you to all clear a wind map with thunder units, and I'm not even joking. I had to use thunder units to clear a wind map, and it was toxic. It is doable though, and Yomi's job plus I definitely think is worth it. There are some nice changes that were made to her kit that allow her to shove above and beyond your standard priestess. For her loadout, I run both the main and sub from her job plus. She's not going to really run her Holy Brawler sub anymore because she scales off of physical attack and luck equally. So you just don't get as much mileage out of the charge up from the Holy Brawler. For her reactive, I also run the Priestess reactive for that extra chance at a heal, and Holy Brawler and Ninja reactives aren't that good. I tend to run extra speed, or not extra speed, I mean extra move, because it helps Yomi get around. The one thing you'll notice about Yomi that I've found is she really doesn't have many options when it comes to passives. Her Shrine Maiden passives are pretty bleh, and she doesn't want the Holy Brawler passives really outside of the HP, because she doesn't use Strike anymore. So move and HP, it's good enough. There's nothing wrong with a 5 move unit. This is her Nensou skin that you see me wearing here. I think it's a pretty nice skin. At the very least, it's nice enough that I don't feel like I need to get her OG skin or her swimsuit skin. And she does change to the Priestess robes, which also actually look pretty nice. But she is no longer a Shrine Maiden. She is actually a Priestess, is kind of the point I'm trying to get across there. Being able to upgrade from a silver job to a gold job is a big deal in Japan, because it often means a lot of extra stats. It's one of the reasons Nigel was considered so good on his release, is because he had 3 really good gold jobs, as opposed to other units which might only have 2. So he gained just a lot of stats from it. Unfortunately, he's fallen off a little bit because of some issues with his elemental coverage. But he's still a great unit. Alright, so the Priestess kit is still mostly here. We still have the map jewel attack. And we have the AoE buffs. And they do the exact same thing as the other Priestess buffs. One of the major differences now is we have this attack. And I believe Priestesses have a similar attack. But the major difference is this is a wind element, and it scales off of physical attack and luck. So it makes use of her actual stats. On her sub-kit, we have this nice jewel drain, which, as you can see, gets her a lot of jewels. And that's one thing you're going to find about Yomi, is you're constantly draining jewels, because a lot of her skills have really high jewel costs. She does not have the map physical and magical defense down. Instead, she has a map evasion down, and she has this AoE luck down. Now, what are you going to do with an AoE luck down? Well, this last attack she has on here for 28 jewels is a single target attack that works very similar to the way the Forecaster Thunder AoE works, where the damage is calculated by the difference in luck between Yomi and the unit. So the idea would be that you use this to lower their luck, and then you can attack with this for more damage. I generally don't go out of my way to do that, because I don't like giving up the turn for a little bit of extra damage the next turn, especially when you need as many jewels as Yomi's does, and you constantly have to waste turns jewel draining. She does have the map Charm, if you like that. So, my biggest issue with Yomi actually comes from her master abilities, and that's because these all come from her VCR and Nensou. The first thing we have, and I believe this is the Nensou's attack. This is a pretty hard-hitting attack. Why don't I go ahead and actually buff up, because I almost always buff up Yomi before I start going in for an attack. Just to show what her real damage is going to look like. I'll quick go over the previous attacks and what they look like. So yeah, her damage is actually pretty good. And then we go into this, and you can start to see where her damage is really starting to get high. And this is just single target. It has some status on it too. It doesn't have much above and beyond. It just does damage. And then she has this line attack. And this comes from her VCR, her sword. And it also hits pretty hard. Not quite as hard, but it does do technically AoE damage. But mostly these are just really high jewel cost, hard-hitting attacks. And to put things in perspective, once you have that buff up, she's stealing about 104 jewels from this thunder unit here. Well, you're going to use about 75% of that jewels for a single nuke. So she's like basically going to have to attack and then drain jewels, and then attack again, and then drain more jewels. Don't forget that her initial buff up costs 55 jewels. So you're basically going to have to buff up and then immediately steal jewels if you want to be able to attack for more than one turn. If she can even pull off an attack on one turn. I actually didn't pay attention. I don't remember. So her last skill in her kit is this AoE heal. And it's not a massive heal, but it's something. You know, it's something. It's not ideal, per se. It's not a rate heal, so it's not like it guarantees that it's going to heal a certain percent of your HP. But it's better than nothing. I don't use it that often, but I have used it. And there really isn't much else to say about Yomi's kit other than that. She is a good unit. Don't get me wrong. Yomi is a great unit, in my opinion. However, whether you should really focus on farming her over other units is really up to you. The question is how deep are you willing to go to get this Nensou? Because this Nensou is the most important thing to making Yomi work. And when she has it, she works pretty well. And when she doesn't have it, it feels like she's missing half her kit. And that is the story of Yomi. That she has an essential Nensou and an essential VCR, and while if you have the Nensou it does guarantee that you will get the VCR, you still have to grind out the VCR or drop some mech ratties on it to max it out, just so that way you can get her weapon. And above and beyond that, you also have to deal with the fact that she really would like to have the Izayoi VCR as well. And while she doesn't need it, it's definitely helpful. So while Yomi is farmable, and she's a very old unit, so I'm sure a lot of people already have her at 85, and it doesn't feel like it takes that much effort to really push her forward. You do have to realize that you're going to need to gacha a lot more just to get her up to a usable state. And that is unfortunate, because Yomi, a lot of us like her design. I like her design. If you want my honest opinion, I would farm her gates to 5-2, which is like 95 shards. And if you get dupes above and beyond that, that's great. But what that means is you don't have to invest a ton into Yomi in terms of hard quests. That's like a month of hard quests, less with 2 times drop, less if you already have a back pile because you got her to 85 and have been saving her dupes ever since. And if the Nensou comes out and you manage to get lucky and you sack and you pull the Nensou, you can just farm for another like half month or so, and then your Yomi will be like ready to go if that's what you really want. As far as her performance among the wind units, she suffers from being a Watatsumi unit. She does not have access to the Desert Wind comp because she can't share the Nensou bonuses with the Desert Wind units. But I still run her in my Desert Wind team squad a lot, especially if I'm in tower and can field 5 units, because her kit does come in handy. It does have some utility on it that the Desert Wind kits don't have. But she's far from the best wind unit in the game. I will say that much. I don't want to say she's like some super SS tier unit, because she's not. What she is she's pretty solid, she's pretty reliable, she's fun to use in my opinion, and she can get the job done. If you like Yomi, I do think she is a worthwhile investment. And that's mostly my take on it. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Later this week, I will be going through a full Kaigan from, well, not a full Kaigan, but I'll be going through gates 1 and 2 of Rada. I just need a couple more frags of hers, and I've farmed those over the next 3 or so days. So hopefully you look forward to that, and you can see a Kaigan from scratch. So I will see you next time.